Thank you very much. I am from Huntingburg. We are a city like no other. I am required by city statute to say that Huntingburg is the only Huntingburg in the United States. If you Google Huntingburg, you find us. It's truly a Hoosier thing to be from Huntingburg. And there would be any telling of Indiana Retold, I think, must have a basketball story. So I got the basketball story because Huntingburg is a great basketball story. And the story goes, the end of the story is, I live in a town of 6,000 people. And the Huntingburg Memorial Gym seats 6,000 people. But the story really goes back to 1949, because Huntingburg Memorial Gym, at the time it was built, Huntingburg's population was 3,000. And they built a gym that seats 6,000 people. And the reason for all this is because that city that was mentioned before us, the city of Jasper. Jasper and Huntingburg were rivals all the time, and especially in basketball. And in 1940, Jasper had the big gym. They were the county seat. That's where we played the sectional. And for 10 consecutive years, Jasper won the sectional because it was played on their floor. They cheated, they had to. But in 1949, Huntingburg had the team. They had beaten Jasper twice in the regular season, and they went over to Jasper for the sectional championship game and lost. And it got worse. Not only did they lose to a team that they had beaten and thought they could win the sectional, this very mediocre Jasper team, look it up, it's the worst team to ever win the state championship. In 1949, the Huntingburg team that was destined to break the record and break this jinx lost in the championship game, and that team won the state championship. Imagine watching the parade come back from Indianapolis celebrating the state championship when we knew we had a better team than they did. So what happened on that Monday morning in March in 1949 when all the guys from Huntingburg were at the Palace of Sweets having the coffee, and they said, this has got to stop. This has got to stop. And the only way that we can ever stop this is we've got to build a gym that's bigger than theirs. So, logically. So they thought about it, and they said, well, how big a gym can we build? Well, we're going to build it so big that Jasper will never build one bigger than that. So they went to the state school board, and they said, how big a gym can we build? And they told them because it was a school of only about 150 kids, you could only build a gym that was it wasn't as big as Jasper. So they said, okay, the school won't build the gym, the city will, the town will. The businessmen got together and they formed a holding corporation and bought the property next to the high school. They sold bonds. Everybody in town bought a bond. My dad had bonds to build the gymnasium. They put a team together, and they heard about this revolutionary new type of gymnasium in Illinois that was sunken into the ground, and there was no post to obstruct your view. The leading industry in Huntingburg at that time was Olinger Construction Company, which built highways. They built I-64 through southern Indiana. They took Mr. Olinger to Illinois. They stood in this little gym. He looked up and they said, what do you think? He goes, looks like a bridge to me. We can build that. So they came back to Huntingburg and they built this big hole in the ground next to the school. They filled it with concrete. They built steel arches all around it. At night, the guys would come in with wrenches and tighten bolts. The citizens, would come and tighten bolts to the bleachers so that the gym could be built. And in 1951, IU's Branch McCracken came to Huntingburg, Indiana to dedicate the Huntingburg Memorial Gym and its 6,214 seats. You'd think that, these people are nuts. This will never fill up. The 1952 sectional sold out every night. 53, 54, 55, 98. All through single class basketball in Indiana, the Huntingburg Memorial Gymnasium sold out every session. You had to buy a season ticket at your school and hope your name would be drawn to get a ticket to go to the sectional. People would scalp tickets. People created ways to come into the gymnasium. There were guys who faked carrying ice into the gym with concessionaires, and the reason they found out that happened because they put them in the bathrooms, and the bathrooms all flooded. So that's, you think about this. And when I was growing up in Huntingburg, the big gym. It wasn't Memorial, it was the big gym. You were going to the big gym? Yeah, we're going to the big gym. You'd go to the big gym, and still to this day, the smell of pickles and popcorn remind me of the sectional, because that was just part of it. If you grew up in Du Bois County from 1950 to 1996, you've got stories about going to the game at Memorial Gym and watching your rivals across the way. You weren't impartial. You watched everybody. You watched every game and you cheered for every game because you either wanted one team to win or Jasper to lose. It was everybody against Jasper. That's just the way it was. But then I think about that now. 8 years ago, I became mayor of Huntingburg. Probably the proudest thing I've done. I get to be mayor of the place that I grew up in. And I think about Memorial Gym. And you think, wow, for over 60 years now, people have come to Huntingburg to be part of that experience. Long before Field of Dreams, Kevin Costner said, if they build it, they will come. Huntingburg did. In 1952, they built it. And for over 60 years now, people have come. And it's a spirit that our community has. It was something that the community took on. It said, yeah, we can do this. Let's do this thing. And nobody had enough craziness to say, well, why are we building a 6,000 seat gym in a 3,000 population town? Because we needed it. And they had the foresight and the drive and the ambition and the ability to do it. And now as mayor, this is an inspirational story for me. Every time I hear something about going on in town that says, well, we can't do that. It says, yeah, we can. Yeah, we can. And we've done things like that in Huntingburg. Well, we're blessed to have a lot of great projects going on. We're a community that I'm very, very proud of and proud to lead right now. But it's all about Hoosiers, loving basketball, loving each other, having a purpose, and coming together and doing what seemed to be impossible at the time. So if you ever come to Huntingburg, other than going to League Stadium where A League of Their Own was filmed, that's in Huntingburg too. That's why we're a city like no other. You got to come to Memorial Gym. Because it is, if you've seen the pictures of Newcastle, Huntingburg was built first. The Newcastle gym is a copy of the Huntingburg gym. That design is all across the state. It started in Huntingburg, which is a city like no other. Thank you.